The world's fastest ice has more than lived up to its reputation this weekend. 2 days, two world records at the Utah Olympic Oval. Still, one more day of competition remains as the penultimate ISU World Cup speed skating event nears its conclusion. Hello, everyone. Gavin Day here for the final day of action in Salt Lake this season. You have a look at the schedule. We have the second round of women's and men's 1,000 meters. There's the women's mass start, the men's 5,000 meters, and then for the second time this season on World Cup, the mixed gender relay as the new event comes to the fore once again. Just a couple minutes away from action. Let's say just under 4 minutes to go. We will take a quick pause. You'll have a look at some of the athletes arriving and getting ready for competition. I'll be back with you in just a few minutes. Two-minute warning at the Utah Olympic Oval. The first event up is the women's 1,000 meters, second of the two runnings this weekend, of course. And will anyone be able to beat Miho Takagi, the Japanese great? Kimi Getz, the American, came close a couple days ago. And Han Mei of China put in a bronze medal winning performance with a new personal best time. New day. We'll see what that brings. There's a look at the start list, the first 5 pairs. And you'll want to pay attention to perhaps the second half of the start list, as you always do. Antoinette Reitma de Jong of the Netherlands in the 7th pair. Jutta Leerdam against Miho Takagi. Pardon me, that was the original drawing. Got some changing here. Jutta Leerdam is against Antoinette Reitma de Jong in the 8th pair. And a look at the overall 1,000-meter standings. Takagi, Getz, Bo, Leerdam, and Han, your top 5. Bringing us to the first pair. Vanessa Herzog out of Innsbruck, Austria, on the inner lane. And then Sarah Warren, the American, on the other. Warren was second in the B division, jumping up to A for the second 1,000 meters. The former collegiate soccer player, or football, of course, depending on where you are in the world.
Go to the start. Ready.
Both of these skaters were in the B division on Friday. Herzog coming out on top. Warren was second. Tian Rining of China was third. And we'll see all three of those skaters in the A division at the World Cup competition here today. Of course, 2.5 laps. It's Herzog with quite the blistering open, as you might expect from really a 500-meter specialist. However, she did pick up a bronze in the 1,000 meters at the European Championships. Herzog was 5th in the overall 1,000-meter World Cup standings last year compared to 2nd. And as we've been talking about, still trying to find her form this year. Hasn't been up to what she might expect. She will lay the fastest time, as this is the first pair and all. She has a 1.1 second advantage over Warren. And she will go right over the top on the final crossover. Warren will get a bit of a draft. That might help her out, as Herzog may perhaps be struggling to retiring a little bit into the final corner. It is still Herzog in front. And the 28-year-old from Innsbruck will cross 1:14.56, 1:15.54 for Warren. And we'll be keeping an eye, as always, on personal bests today, with the reputation of having the world's fastest ice and all. Warren was just a couple hundredths of a second off hers, by the way. Now, we talked about those 2 world records set in the last 2 days. Apparently, Saturday's conditions were not terribly conducive to a world record. It's a higher pressure day, and the air pressure, when it's lower, tends to be more helpful to world records. Anyway, second pair, Alina Dauranova, the veteran from Kazakhstan, or pardon me, the youngster from Kazakhstan, and Tian Rining from China is on the outer lane.
Ready.
Dauranova 19th a couple days ago on World Cup number 1 in this distance. She's going to pair with her teammate, the veteran Katerina Aidova. As I just mentioned earlier, Tian Rining was 3rd in the B division. And talking about that air pressure a little bit, apparently lower air pressure, and of course reduces the wind or the air resistance, and that is more conducive to world records. And so the scuttlebutt, and so maybe not the best, maybe not the best conditions for world. And Tian rounding the corner in front ahead of Dauranova, and it's going to be Tian taking it, but it's only 3rd fastest, 1:15.68. Alina Dauranova 4th, 1:16.21. Of course, we will 1,000 meters to see if Jordan Stolz perhaps can go faster than his new world record that he put up on Friday. He admitted that after skating in the 500 and the 1,500 yesterday, he might be a little bit tired by now. Of course, he won gold in both of those distances. Next up is the youngster from Korea, 18-year-old. Oh, pardon me, I'm looking at the wrong Korean skater. Kim Min-sun, the great Kim Min-sun. Perhaps more of a 500-meter specialist. Getting my notes mixed up here. Madison Pierman from Canada.
Go to the start.
Kim, the 24-year-old, certainly more comfortable in the 500 meters. Bronze yesterday. It'll be interesting to see what skaters choose to go to that Quebec City World Cup stop in 1 week's time, with the World Championships, World Single Distances in Calgary right around the corner. I know Kimmy Getz, the American, is likely going to sit out next weekend and stay back here in Salt Lake and train ahead of those World Single Distances in Calgary on similarly fast ice. And it is Kim out to a fast start. Another one of those really 500-meter specialists relying on quick openings. He's now a quarter of a second ahead of the fastest time. Currently being held by Vanessa Herzog. One final crossover. There's Pierman in the background. He will be in friendly confines at the Calgary Olympic Oval in a couple weeks. She is an Alberta native. And Kim crossing goes fastest, 1:13.42. That's a new personal best for Kim Min-sun. Knocks out over 0.3 of a second. Happy with that one. Our first personal best of the day. And it is her young teammate who will be in the next pair. Already on the ice, on the inner lane. From Kazakhstan, Ekaterina Aidova. 4 Olympics to her name, going all the way back to 2010. And a consistent figure on the international scene, representing Kazakhstan. And Lee Na-yun, 18 years old. We already have one potent sprinter for the program. Thinking of perhaps building another one here.
Ready.
She is 18, but Lee already has competed. She competed on World Cup last season, has a World Single Distances already under her belt from last year's World Championships in Heerenveen. So not completely green coming into the season, despite being only 18. And it's Aidova, faster of the two in the opener, but by just a couple hundredths of a second. Aidova was 12th 2 days ago. Lee was 15th, so potentially a pretty even pair coming up here. And they will both come up to the bell. Aidova maybe a slight advantage, just about side by side. Yeah, about 16 hundredths of a second. Ekaterina Aidova from Karaganda. That's Kazakhstan's 5th most populous city. The Aidova leading things around the corner using that inner lane. Drops both arms. She will take the pair, and she will go to third. 1:14.84. Lee Na-yun, 1:16.33. So the personal best not falling as quickly as the last couple days we've seen. We've already had 4 pairs and only 1 personal best. It's as if they're maybe a little bit fatigued after a whole weekend's racing. And in the case of both of these skaters, they were both here for the 4 continents as well last weekend. So they've been in North America for some time now. Pair. Nkakok, the Netherlands. 10th, the 23-year-old on Friday. And on the outer lane, Erin Jackson. She's admitted that the 1,000 is not her preferred event, and I think the results show that. Nearly unbeatable in the 500 meters these days.
To the start.
The Olympic champion in the 500.
Ready.
Jackson joked that at 31 the other day she's not as young as some of the other competitors in the field, but she has no problem beating them, that's for sure. And as you'd expect, a blistering opening from Jackson, over 0.2 of a second to the good, ahead of Kim Min Sun's time. The big challenge now, sustaining that speed. Cook, I do wonder if we'll see her in the mixed relay later on today. She was at the first one in Obihito, and it's now Cook well in front, and there is the addition of the bottom right corner of the live time split. Jackson's time is fading a little bit, and Cook will get a slight draft. Jackson not really getting over into the outer lane. Bianca Cook had to go right onto the inner lane there on that crossover. It is going to be the skater from the Netherlands to take the pair. We'll see if that has hampered her time. And she does finish 0.2 of a second to the good to move to the top of the leaderboard. Jackson, 1:15.59, goes to 5th. Not often you see that on the crossover. You see it on the replay. Jackson with a very quick start, as you'd imagine, from the 500-meter specialist. And it was right here where Jackson is staying stubbornly a little bit in the inner lane. She checked to see where Cook is, and then perhaps realizing what was going on. Nothing malicious in it, obviously, but a little miscommunication there. Regardless, she tops the leaderboard at the moment by just over 0.2 of a second. Pair as Karolina Bosiek from Poland on Friday. The 23-year-old. And Ryo Yamada of Japan, 26 years old, 7th.
Go
A couple
to the
days
start.
ago.
Ready.
Yamada, another skater that we often see in the 500 meters, perhaps favoring that one over the 1,000 meters. Sprint endurance really is a skill and a talent. You can have that top-end speed, but if you can't sustain it, 1,000 is perhaps a bridge too far for you. Those openers, just respectively, just a couple hundredths of a second between them. Yamada perhaps trying to suck up as much of that little slipstream as she can. Drag her into the corner. And at the bell, Yamada, certainly a much faster lap time there. 26.65 against 27.36 for Bosiek. But there is that power of the inner lane. We'll see if that provides Bosiek any little reprieve, any chance of closing things down. Yamada, I think she's on a good one right now. And it is Ryo Yamada. She will go third fastest, 1:13.95, 1:15.31 for Bosiek. And Yamada, that's a couple hundredths of a second off her personal best time. Here's a look at the leaderboard. Koch survives the first challenge. Came up there. Very impressive 1,000 meters. Seventh pair, Ayano Sato. On the inner lane from Japan, the 27 years old. She did put up a new personal best on Friday. There it is, 1:14.19. The woman from Kushiro on Hokkaido. And Elia Smeding. Likes it or not, she said it herself. She's the woman who brewed her way to the Olympics. And when I say brewed, I'm talking about coffee. Of course, her and her partner Cornelius Kirsten, they run a coffee business that helps supplement their training, finance them. They live and train in Herondane. As you can imagine, not too many ovals in Great Britain. And it's Sato, the faster opening, 5th fastest overall. Smeding skating into this. Smeding was 14th 2 days ago. Sato, as I mentioned, put up a new personal best, putting them in back-to-back races. Certainly a tough challenge indeed. Sato does turn 28 this year. Often you see with those younger skaters, 18, 19, 20, their first time on ice like this, big drops in their personal best time. Just about any time they step onto the ice. Not a bad lap time as Smeding starting to skate into it, closing that gap. Sato certainly starting hard, but it is Elia Smeding of Great Britain. He is on a bit of a charge here, closing it right up. I think it's still Sato just in front. Smeding is making it close by 0.02 of a second. Elia Smeding takes it, jumping up to 4th. I believe I just heard the announcer say new British record. New personal best, obviously. There is a big reshuffling of the leaderboard. Perhaps the next pair could be the first one to do it. Look at Smeding, knocking over half a second off her personal best. There we have it, Jutta Leerdam. And Antoinette Wright-Mariong on the outer. Leerdam, not the best results this weekend. We'll see how she's feeling in this one. 11th in both the 1,000 and the 500 meters. Young, 5th in this 1,000 on Friday. Of course, Wright-Mariong perhaps more comfortable the longer this race gets. Silver medal in the 1,500 meters yesterday. Gold in the 1,500 meters at and ironically enough becoming more of a fixture on the Dutch team sprint side. Being used as the anchor leg to use that endurance to her advantage, the team's advantage, and it's paid off. And it is Leerdam with the quicker opener. But keep an eye on that figure in the background. See if she gets closer and closer as this race goes along. Coming up to the bell, Leerdam up to 4th. Wright-Mariong has the slower lap time. She's almost a second off the pace of Wright-Mariong, rather, 2.5 off the leader's time. But we know Wright-Mariong does have that endurance. Leerdam going over the top on the final crossover. She is still out in front. Looks like it is still going to be Leerdam taking the pair. 4th at the last time check, crossing the line, and she goes fastest. How about that for a lap time? Leerdam by 0.04 of a second, going to the top of the leaderboard. Not the fastest of starts, but certainly so far the fastest finish. Right, Madiong, 1:13.82. Moves her into 4th place. And a definite reshuffling of the leaderboard now as Leerdam goes up top and her teammate goes 4th. Dutch skaters 1, 2, and 4 with 2 pairs still to go. And not in one of these pairs, I might mention, there is no Miho Takagi. There was a reshuffling of the start list, and this was why. But, so, that means this penultimate pair has 2 Americans, Brittany Bowe, the world record holder. They always show that board, because that, of course, was set right here in Salt Lake City. And Kimmy Getz. That's second, a 1:12.85, a matter of a few hundredths of a second behind Takagi on Friday.
Ready.
Bowe just off the podium in 4th. The first running of the 1,000 meters. Getz again proving her prowess in multiple disciplines. I mentioned the second in the 1,000 meters. She was also second in the 500. Very quick openings from these two. We do know that Leerdam finished strong, but both of these skaters do have that sprint endurance. So if they can sustain this, we are going to have some changes atop the leaderboard. Gets into the inner lane. Bowe on the outer. New Jersey versus Florida. North versus South. Look at Getz go. She is still in front, and there is that live time check. We'll see how it slips away. Leerdam had a blistering fastest lap, and you see Getz's time slipping closer to Leerdam. Either way, there's less than 1/10 of a second. It's all coming down to this final corner. Kimmy Getz just about even with Jutta Leerdam, eyeing the top of the podium. It is Getz. Is she fading? Is she surging? And she goes fastest. Kimmy Getz, 1:13.08. Brittany Bowe, also an impressive fast lap, jumping up to 4th. You see that live split time. It drifted, but Getz doing just enough to hang on. One pair left to go. Featuring that home support. And Getz P1 at the moment. And surrounded on the podium. Big final pair. Yvonne Blondin, the name we will see later on in the mass start. There she is, the all-rounder from Ottawa, from the nation's capital. 20th on Friday, but it was really more of just a warm-up race for her. And Han Mei from China, 3rd place.
Go to the start. Ready.
Han turned 26 yesterday, and so she would love nothing more than to give herself a World Cup medal as a belated birthday gift. Hahn certainly has the distance ability as well. 2 World Cup medals in Beijing earlier this year in the 1500 meters and 3000, so not expecting a blistering opener for her. Same thing for Blondin, as we know she was gold yesterday as part of Canada's team pursuit side, likes to skate just about every distance she can except for the 500 meters. And this will be an adequate representation of whether they're up to speed, whether they're challenging. Kimi Getz the time to beat. And it's Hahn, 1.2 seconds down. What kind of shift can she put in on the final lap? Blondin about 0.3 of a second behind Hahn. This is now Han May's time to shine. Trying to close down Getz's advantage. He had a blistering start and just hung on at the end. Han trying to do the opposite tactic, picking up speed as she goes. It's going to be Han winning the pair. She's going to go 8th, 1:14.25. Yvonne Blondin, 12th in 1:14.60. There's a look at the winner, Kimi Getz of the United States. Another trip to the podium this weekend. So unofficially, we'll wait for official confirmation, but it's Kimi Getz winning. Second going to Jutta Leerdam and Femke Kok of the Netherlands. The bronze medal. There are your results. Getz, Leerdam, and Kok, the podium. And without Miho Takagi, there will be a bit of a reshuffling in the World Cup rankings as well. And there we have it, with Getz now taking the lead in the World Cup ahead of Takagi. Brittany Bowe up into 3rd. Leerdam with that silver medal up into 4th. She did skip a spot in Poland, I might add. And so there will be a quick break. Very, very quick, because the men's 1,000 meters has to go. Not one of the full medal breaks and ice floods, but I'll be back with you in just a moment for the men's 1,000 meters.
Anybody else? And they're now joining the start of the men's 1,000 meters here from the
Men's 1,000 meters, we all know what happened 2 days ago, and you have to wonder, it can't happen again, can it? I mean, if anyone can do it, it is certainly Jordan Stolz. There is the first half of the start list. Kai Verbij back here. We haven't seen him much this year. He was second in the B division on Friday. And there we have it. If you're picking the races to watch, pair number 8, Jordan Stolz against Kova Lorentzen. 2008 double medalist, including gold in the 500. And Kjeld Nuis, let's see what kind of race he skates. He sort of used it, I'm not sure if it was a warm-up or what have you, but Nuis did not really contest the 1,000 on Friday. And it is an all-Dutch battle in pair number 1. I mentioned Kai Verbij, the veteran. And on the inner lane, if you recognize that last name, Joep Venemars. Yes, his father, Urban, Dutch skater, a couple Olympic medals to his name, multiple-time world single-distance champion. But of course, Joep would like to make a name for himself. He already has 1 World Cup medal last season. And Kai Verbij dealt with a groin injury late last season. Verbij has 2 times won the single distance world championship in the 1,000 meters. He's also won a world sprint championship. The one thing missing from his resume, though, is an Olympic medal. And in the opening couple hundred meters, it's Venemars with about a 0.2 of a second advantage. Verbij, of course, famously gave way to Laurent Dubreuil in the 1,000 meters at the Beijing Olympics. Dubreuil going on to race silver. Verbij won an award. There is a kick of the cone. Let's see what any rulings are coming from that. And at the moment, it is still Venemars. About 3/4 of a second advantage. And knocked out half a second in that lap time. Venemars, as I mentioned, he has 1 medal in World Cup. It was a silver in Heerenveen last season. He did also win a silver in the team sprint. He's still just 21 years old. Lots more to come from him, and he puts up the provisional fastest time, 107.60. Verbij, 108.82. Talking about that moment, giving way to Dubreuil in Beijing on a crossover. It won the most inspiring moment of the games. Nice to see him back in the A division in Salt Lake. All-American battle in pair number 2. Cooper McLeod, 22 years old, from Mount Vernon in Washington State. It's in the beautiful Pacific Northwest of the U.S., not far from the border with Canada. Of course, when you think Washington State, you think short track, thanks to Apollo Anton Ono. And Connor McDermott Muskowey, the 4th man on that world record-setting team pursuit team. McLeod, he got into this sport watching the 2010 Olympic Games in Vancouver, which were just up the road for him. Sadly, that oval in Richmond, British Columbia, where those games were held, has been turned into really a large multi-purpose recreational facility, which is good to see, but it's not an oval really these days, which is sad for a little bit. And it is McLeod out in front, both of them with faster opening times than the previous pair. McDermott and Nastoe taking the lead at the lap. 0.08 of a second separating these two men, both of them pushing 60 kilometers an hour. It is going to be McDermott and Nastoe's pair. He will go almost 0.7 of a second quicker. Loves that one. 106.91. That is almost a second better than his previous personal best. Previous best 107.76 of the 25-year-old. That's a huge chunk of time being taken out. You know, it was previous best was set in Salt Lake City, and so that's no small feat. I wonder, is that a breakthrough moment for this young man? Love the reaction. Absolutely love that reaction. Fastest time at the moment. And for now, USA 1 and 3, but that's just after two pairs.
Getting in pair number 3, starting inside of lane from Germany,
Dombeck. Germany, 26 years old, originally from Munich, now lives in Erfurt, where there is, of course, an oval. Connor Howe, 23-year-old Canadian, perhaps 1,500-meter specialist. We've also seen him in the mass start this weekend. Dombeck, missing 12 weeks last season with a foot injury. He actually got into the sport since he lived about 200 meters from an oval. Fell in love with the sport, and here he is, competing internationally. Good opening from him. Just a couple hundredths of a second off the pace. Dombeck 16th in the first 1,000 meters. Skated on Friday. He also skated to an 11th in the 500. But Dombeck does do a lot of 500-meter racing as well. And Howe perhaps skating into this one now a little bit, couple tenths of a second quicker that last lap. Taking a little bit of extra time to maybe get up to top speed. Dombeck, little hand down there, a little slip, and it is Howe in front. Dombeck trying to make a charge. It's going to be Howe taking it. Goes third fastest, 107.76. 107.98 for Dombeck. Interesting pair coming up. Tatsuya Shinama, Japan. Third in the 1,000 meters at the Four Continents last weekend. Didn't skate the first 1,000 here. And Yenning Debo, now 20 years old, just turned 20
Go to the
on
start.
the 22nd of this month.
Ready.
And Shinama, we know his prowess and his strength in the 500 meters. Almost at times it feels too strong for his own good, especially going through those inner lanes where he's just so powerful and he the habit of drifting into the outer lane. All good through here, and as you would expect from two 500-meter specialists, two very quick openings. Shinama, a couple hundredths of a second quicker. Debo, silver in the 1,000 at the European Championships. Only made the switch to long track last year after starting off in short track. Skated at the Youth Olympics in Lausanne in 2020. And it is Debo now in front, both of them ahead of the American McDermott Nastoi's time. We'll see how that holds up with that live time check. Debo fading a little bit, ticking backwards. Shinama seeing if he can get through this inner lane this time. He does. It is going to be close. Debo is fading. Shinama goes fastest. 106.72. And then Debo 106.95. Fast enough for third place. That's a new personal best for Shinama. It's actually a personal best for both of them. And Debo skating on this Salt Lake ice for the first time in his career. New man atop the leaderboard. Next pair. Two younger skaters. Kazuya Yamada, 22. Moritz Klein of Germany, 23. And lots more to come from these two men.
Go to the start. Ready.
The 10th place for Klein was actually his worst World Cup result this season. Or in the 1,000 meters anyway. He was 7th in Japan, 10th or 9th in China, 15th in Norway. So pardon me, his second worst result in the 1,000 meters this year. So hoping to creep back into the top 10. Kazuya Yamada was 17th on Friday. Of course, by this time, there's a little more fatigue in the legs. All these guys also doing the 1,500 meters, which is just saps the legs. Really tests the recovery. Very even through 600 meters, 0.2 of a second the difference. Yamada slightly faster on his lap time. And he'll get a bit of a draft down that back stretch. That looks like a good one for Kazuya Yamada as he drops into the inner lane. Moves ahead of Moritz Klein. Yamada perhaps eyeing a new personal fastest time. 1:07.45. Yes, it is. 1:08.08 for Moritz Klein as they go 4th and 9th. And Yamada slams down a new personal best. Already 5 pairs, 10 skaters so far, and 5 personal bests. Just looking at averaging 1 personal best a race, but a couple of them have had both skaters, or one of them have had both skaters skate personal best. Still Tatsuya Shinama atop the leaderboard, but now into the second half. of the program. Martin Leave, the lone man from Estonia, out of Jõgeva, southwest of Tallinn, the beautiful capital of Estonia, I might add. Lives in Heerenveen, though, going up against Tim Prinz. You see there, 107.20,
Go to the stop.
fifth in the first 1,000 meters.
Worthy.
And so fourth against fifth, based on Friday's results coming up. That was the best 1,000 meters result of the season. He also picked up first place in the B division in the 1,500 meters yesterday. Very even opener, just about 0.2 of a second off of Shinama's pace. Leave was fourth in this distance at the European Championships. That was in Heerenveen. Leave has 2 Olympics to his name. Prinz just 20 years old, part of perhaps the next generation of Dutch talent that just comes off a conveyor belt. Prinz is fast. Leave about 0.3 of a second off the pace. You see the time slipping away and then coming back from Prinz. Always liked that live speed check, the live timing there. And Prinz in front at the moment, has to finish the job here. Last few meters for Prinz, and he goes first. Puts a big shift in. Last few 100 meters there. Tim Prinz eking out 0.3 of a second. A lot of skaters really pleased with how they're going today. Another personal best, Tim Prinz knocking out 0.8 of a second. And Lee finishing just off his personal best, 1:07.16 for fifth place. So, new man atop the leaderboard. Pair. Some of the Japanese skaters. Masaya Yamada is on the outer lane. And as you can see there, Demian Zurek, 24-year-old, finished 8th on Friday on the inner. Very little separating these two men in terms of personal best. Yamada won the first 1,000 meters in Obihiro in the first World Cup of the season, but hasn't been able to match the results on home ice. Of course, he is born and raised in Obihiro, so that home ice really did him some good. Now just trying to replicate that form on the rest of the World Cup circuit. It is Zurek with the faster opener. Yamada not too far back right now. We are averaging a personal best a pair. Let's see if these two men can keep it up at the bell. Zurek slipping a little bit further behind Yamada. About 3/4 of a second off the pace. Going to be a very close crossover chance for Zurek to soak up a bit of a draft, but he is the faster skater, so he might just want to break into that inner lane as quickly as possible. And there it is. Oh, and a stumble from Zurek, and there goes his speed. He is still in front at the moment, but a stumble going into the final turn, and he goes 1:07.64. Yamada 1:07.81. 8th and 10th. So Zurek was shaping up nicely to enter that inner lane. Save some energy in that slipstream. And then right there, entering the turn, that just takes out all kinds of speed. When on the turns, you're trying to just keep your speed up. And that is not going to do it. He was on pace potentially for a personal best. Ends up finishing just outside of it. And now, home fans and any speed skating fan are watching this one. 19-year-old world champion, world record holder, Jordan Stolz. As you see, 5.37. That was the new world record. And there we go. We've got the board updated. And another lane. Over Lorentzen.
Go to the stop. Ready.
Lorentzen, of course, his story, slashed his calf in a near catastrophic accident and came back to win a couple of Olympic medals. Let's keep an eye on Stolz now. His opener was 16:12, a little off the pace this time. He has admitted maybe not going to be as fast. And so 16:26, he's already lost a bit of time compared to his world record. It's inevitable that we make a comparison to what he raced on Fridays, and he's already a little bit behind. And his lap time on Friday was 24:1 and 24:49, so he's not on world record pace. He's not even on the fastest lap pace at the moment. He has to shift. Tim Prince's time in front at the moment, but it was the blistering second lap from Stolz that pushed him over the top to the world record on Friday. That might be pushing him atop the leaderboard at the moment. Jordan Stolz in a race for the top of the podium right now. It's Stolz. Is he going to go green? Yes, he is. 0.08 of a second. 106.32. Lorentzen, 107.33 into 7th. No world record, doesn't matter. Jordan Stolz atop the leaderboard with 2 pairs to go. But it is eminently beatable. Wasn't that far ahead of Prince's time. So I wonder if the likes of Ning Zhongyang, David Bosa, or Kjeld Nuis are thinking, okay, I might be able to get that one today. That is David Bosa. 7:06. You see he was bronze on Friday in the 1,000 meters. Pay attention. He'll keep his glasses on his forehead for as long as possible. And Ning Zhongyang, the current World Cup leader in the 1,500 meters.
Ready.
Bosa, really the race of his life on Friday, by far and away his best result on World Cup this season. The 31-year-old, faster opener of the two, but expect Ning to really skate into this. I mentioned his 1,500-meter prowess. He'll be one of those skaters that has a really strong back end, and look at that, getting a nice draft before going into the inner lane. This might be Ning Zhongyang really making a shift now. Ning, 0.08 of a second off the pace by Stolz. Bosa, 0.4 of a second adrift. Live time check. Ning losing time down the back stretch. Gonna have to put in another shift here. It's Ning leading the pair. Bosa coming around. That's Bosa perhaps with a strong finish. It is going to be Ning winning the pair, and he goes sixth fastest, 107.02. Bosa 107.42, slotting him into ninth place. So it's still Stoles atop the leaderboard. And from West Bend, Wisconsin, there is an oval in Milwaukee. And the final pair is Kjeld Nuis of the Netherlands, the 34-year-old European champion. And a man used to seeing the top of the leaderboard. 34-year-old going up against Taiyo Nonomura. Second in the four continents.
Go to the stop.
A week ago in the 1,000.
Worthy.
And look in the early going. Nuis is up for this one on Friday. It was quite obvious early on that he wasn't going to be going all out. But perhaps he sees a beatable time atop the leaderboard today. Early going. Not the quickest of openings from these two. But Nuis also specializing in the 1500, so we know he can sustain a top speed. Nonomura into the inner lane. Very even race through 600 meters. Still about a half a second off the pace set by Stoles. It is Nonomura now slightly in front, but Nuis is going to have that draft down the back stretch, and he really maximized it as long as he could. Nuis taking control of the pair. Is it fast enough to beat Stoles? Nuis to the line. No, he goes fourth. 106.81. Nonomura 107.61. And so, oh my. And then Nuis taking a spill. I hope he's okay. Oh dear. I'm going to look at the winner. Stoles will go atop the podium again. Ho-hum for him, I'm sure. Another World Cup win. Peaking just in time with World Championship season just around the corner. And you know what? He's on the start list for the 5,000 meters. And so the next question you ask, World All-Arounds? Maybe? I said it on Friday. I'm paraphrasing myself because I can't exactly remember it, but just about anything is possible for that young man when it comes to being on ice, and I'm really hoping Kjeld Nuis is okay, but it's worrying signs that he's still not up. For a spill like that, of course, you immediately think head. I always worry about head injuries. He went for it. That's not enough. And we'll see what happened. No, we're not going to see what happened. And I think that's the concern, is head and neck after going into a crash. He's moving. You look for the small signs of optimism. The fact he's still on the ice So there will be a break here. They were supposed to resurface anyway and present medals, and so as we await the condition of Kiel Nice, we will take a break. And there are the results. Stolz, Prince, Shinama, your podium, and then Nice, McDermott, Nastelli with his new personal best, far and away.
One, two.
And you hear the music. They will present the medals. We'll take a quick pause and be back with racing in just a little bit.
Now the medals presentation in the women's 1,000 meters. Finishing third in the season best 1:13:21. The bronze medalist from the Netherlands, Femke Kok.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Finishing second in the season best 1:13:17. The silver medalist from the Netherlands, Jutta Leerdam.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Great skating.
Thank you.
And finishing at a time of 1:13:08, the gold medalist for the United States of America, Kimmy Getz.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. Great skating.
Thank you.
Congratulations again to our medalists in the women's 1,000 meters, the bronze medalist, Femke Kok, the silver medalist, Jutta Leerdam, and the gold medalist, Kimmy Getz. We are into our resurfacing break. We'll resume with the men's 5,000 meters division A. The start time will be 13:22, a 1:22 p.m. start for the men's 5,000.
Utah Sports Commission is a proud partner of U.S. Speed Team. For information on world-class sporting events here in Utah, visit utahsportscommission.com and see why Utah truly is the state of sport.
Racing will resume in 5 minutes. It's a 13:22, 1:22 p.m. start for the men's 5,000 meters. Men's 5,000 meter world record is 6:01.56. That's held by Sweden's Nils van der Poel. Skated in Wiener back in December 2021.
Getting ready for the men's 5,000 meters, and wouldn't you know, Jordan Stolz is going to do this one too. An interesting end there. There's Rust against Davide Giotto in the final pair. Ted-Jan Blumen skating in the 7th pair. Look at the overall rankings. Giotto, Rust, Blumen, Hellier, Ingebrigtsen, and Michele Malfatti through 5. Interesting to watch. We'll see how Casey Dawson does, the American. He beat Ted-Jan Blumen at the Four Continents a week ago. He won it. But interesting to see, and why not? Let's keep an eye on Jordan Stolz too. If that's not a sign that this man has world all-round ambitions, I'm not sure what is. Winning the 500, 1,000, 1,500, not enough. World all-rounds, of course, coming up in Inzell in Germany. Marcel Bosker.
Starting outside lane, his personal best is 6:20.76 for the United States of America.
In mass start. And let's see what Stolz can do here. And so Stolz's personal best, should be noted, 6:20.76. That was set on his home ice in Milwaukee back in October, right at the end of October. And so 6:27.6, not as fast as some of the other personal bests we've seen, but a couple factors to just be aware of. It was skated on lower level ice, and it was not at the World Cup level, and so we will pay attention to how things go here for young Jordan Stolz, already one of the faces of speed skating. Bosker does have a win in the mass start in Norway. We saw him yesterday in the mass start. He finished in 18th in a race that had plenty of action. Plenty of crashes. Well, 2 anyway. And Bosker was 8th in the 5,000 meters at the European Championships. Did win the B division at the last World Cup stop in Poland. And the only other time he did the 5,000 meters was the 12th to kick off the season in Obihito, and that was up in the A division. And he's got the faster of the 2 right now. Bosker, originally born in Switzerland, had the option to skate for both countries. Interesting to note about Marcel Bosker, he's been diagnosed with an elevated core temperature in his body. He overheated and crashed out of a 10,000 meter World Cup event in 2019 in Kazakhstan in 2019, as I just said. And yeah, he was quoted as saying, "I know that I am naturally warm. At home it's just 18 degrees, of course that's Celsius, and I walk around in shorts and a t-shirt. For me, that's normal, but not for other people." So it's 18 degrees. You might find a lot of people in North America in shorts and a t-shirt. There's always the funny anecdote of that guy who, when you're in a winter sports country and as soon as it gets over the freezing mark or you're anywhere near it, there's that one guy who's outside in shorts and a t-shirt. And I guess that's Marcel Bosker. So long as he manages it under control. We saw his partner, Melissa Waifia, competing yesterday. And at the moment, Stills puts up a 30-10 lap time, staying in sight of Bosker. Bosker's personal best, 6:08.90. And so about halfway through, keeping an eye on the lap time, Bosker lapping the high 29s, Stills about 30 and a half. Bosker's personal best was set here in Salt Lake City back in 2019. Bosker being in Zofingen in Switzerland. Just a little bit east of Zurich. Both his parents actually competed in speed skating at the international level. They represented Switzerland at the European All-Around Championships in 2004. As you can imagine, parents got him out on the track. He's leading the pair at the moment, still lapping at about 30 and a half seconds. He has maintained some consistency there. It's one of those races where you just find that tempo that you can maintain and not take too much out of you. Bosker dipping down into the 30.2s, and it's another 30.5 second lap for Stills. So he is losing time, but it is a very consistent skate by the American. Bosker coming up to just 2 laps to go. 800 meters is all that remains in this first pair. Bosker, 30.85, and Stolz another 30.4. So he is now officially closing in. I don't think there's enough time to really close right up on Bosker, but the potential for a personal best anyway. Bosker will get the bell this time. And he puts up a 30.86. And another 30.5. So Stolz within a few hundredths of a second. Pretty spectacular consistency. Not going to catch Bosker. But for your first 5,000 meters in quite some time, I would imagine, he's acquitted himself quite well. So Bosker's going to take the pair. Actually, nowhere near personal best times. Bosker goes 6:21.73. And Stolz loses a bit of time on that last lap compared to him. He goes 6:25.28. And so, no personal bests. Bosker goes to the top of the leaderboard at the moment. Second pair, Riku Tsuchiya of Japan and Jesse Spires of the Netherlands.
Starting in the outside lane, the personal best of 16:46 for the Dublin SS Spires.
Go to the stop. Worthy.
Tsuchiya out of Karuizawa, which is in the Nagano prefecture. So a lot of skaters Formerly based up in Obihiro, way up in Hokkaido. Karuizawa uses the M-Wave, the famed oval 1998 Olympics. Yes, Aspires right in front at the moment. Putting in at 29.5. But he is in the green. Spires third in the B division in this distance, back in Poland. Did skate the first two World Cups of the season in the 5,000 and 11th in Obihiro, and then 12th at the Ice Ribbon in Beijing. Spires just 21 years old. So you look at another one of those skaters, perhaps in Salt Lake City for the first time. You look at his personal best times, every single one of them skated in Herrenvein. So you never know, keep an eye out. His personal best for Spires 6:16.46, but as we've learned the last few days, having the fast ice is one thing. Air pressure also contributes to fast times. And Saturday, apparently, it was a bit of a higher air pressure kind of day. The conditions outside affecting how things felt inside. And it's been over the freezing mark in Salt Lake City in recent days. And today's sunny and warm, 10 degrees Celsius. And you see the lap board. It's 29.8 the last lap time. Yes, Aspires. Former short tracker. Originally from Rotterdam. Now based in Herrenvein. Tialf. Really the spiritual home of speed skating. And at the moment, it is Ryuki Tsuchiya in front. Both of them lapping right around 30 seconds. Spires into the 30.3s. Tsuchiya in the high 29s. Tsuchiya was fourth in this distance at the Four Continents. His best World Cup result in the 5,000 meters was 14th. That was, of course, that one time they did the 10,000 meters. That would have been in Stavanger. He was 7th in the B division there. Four laps to go. Tsuchiya dipping into the 30s that lap time and now slipping in behind into second place provisionally. The goal of the 5,000 meters is just to keep the speed up as long as possible. And Bosker did start to fade some times later on, and Tsuchiya also fading here too into the 30.5 range. So he's seeing that time slip back a little bit. He's only a quarter of a second behind Bosker's time. 0.08 of a second, but he seems it is a drop off again, and so it's a matter of Bosker was losing time faster. Tsuchiya is just keeping his lap times up enough to close the gap to Bosker. Amazing that after nearly 5,000 meters, it's a couple hundredths of a second difference between the two men. Tsuchiya will love hearing that, and he's seen his time slip a little bit. Now it's losing too much time, a little too quickly. Tsuchiya seeing the gap add a little bit. Still manageable if he has one final push. The pain written all over his face. It looks like it is Tsuchiya who will take this pair. This might come down to a reach at the line. Tsuchiya trying to push it. And not enough. 6:22.61. Yes, aspires. 6:25.48. And that slots him into 4th place. Seitaro Ichinoe of Japan and Sigurd Henriksson of Norway, first of the Norwegian distance skaters that we'll see. Henriksson, 19 years old.
Go to the stop. Ready.
Given the history of distance skating in Norway, I'm sure big things are expected of this young man. I once spoke with Norwegian coach, sprints coach, Jeremy Weatherspoon, and he said in Norway so many kids who get into speed skating want to do the long distances. It's almost tougher to convince people to try out sprinting. And the history of Norwegian distance speed skating, the likes of the great Johan Olaf Koss. Certainly, skaters want to write their names up alongside those greats. In the early going, Seitaro Ichinoe out faster, lapping in the 28.5s. Another of the skaters in the Nagano area. World single distance champion as part of a Japanese team pursuit side in 2020 on this very ice in Salt Lake City. There he teamed up with Riku Tsuchiya, who we just saw, and Shane Williamson. Ichinoe also has a bronze medal from the 2020 World All-Around Championships. He does have a World Cup medal in the 1500s, so Ichinoe, he does now live actually in Obihiro, site of the oval where this World Cup season started. It feels so long ago, a couple months ago. And to think, there's just one more World Cup stop to come in Quebec City. Coming up next weekend. Ichinoe still lapping in the 29.8s. Henriksson closing the gap a little bit. These men stay in the 29s. We will keep adding to that time. Long, long way to go, of course. Hendrickson is from Bergen. He lives in Stavanger. The gateways to the fjords. Cruise ship stopping in Stavanger. Hendrickson's brother Sindre, gold medalist from 2018 in the team pursuit. Writing his own chapters on his own, though. He 2022 World Junior Champion. And Ichinoue and Hendrickson lapping at comparable times. There is the live time tracker. Ichinoue still in front, but the gap is closing. Now sneaking back out again. Still 5 laps to go, 2 kilometers. Now again, Hendrickson marginally quicker that lap. Amazing how close these two men are lapping. There is about a second between their personal best times. Hendrickson's, though, was set in Inzel. I'll always remind, that was low-level ice. Ichinoue's was set in Calgary. Pardon me, Hendrickson's was also set in Calgary. So both of them adding to their times, adding to their leads over Bosker, but Ichinoue maintaining his advantage. And with 3 laps to go. Still in the 29.4s. Hendrickson losing a little bit of time there now. Ichinoue perhaps shifting into one final gear to maintain that speed. The times haven't been terribly comparable to skaters' personal best times. I don't think Ichinoue is going to challenge his of 6:12.80. You do never know. But it doesn't look like that will be close to it today. Ichinoue close to the 30-second lap time. Hendrickson dipping into the 30s for the first time. But just a few laps to go. These men will get the bell this time around. Both of them potentially sitting in 1-2. And is Hendrickson now closing the gap? Let's see what kind of lap times they just say. By my eye, it is 0.3 of a second closer. Ichinoue bleeding quite a bit of time there. He will have one more time on the inner lane, but the pain is really starting to creep in. Seitaro Ichinoue trying to get one final draft, dropping both the arms, just trying to keep the speed up. Sigurd Hendrickson has closed on Seitaro Ichinoue, who's making one final push. And he will go fastest, and he will stop the clock, 6:17.87. Hendrickson closed it another 0.4 of a second, 6:18.57. And so they go 1 and 2. Big drop off on those last few laps, but still good enough to move atop the leaderboard. And the suffering is over for now for these two men. You just leave it all out there in those distances. All right, next pair. Inner lane, Wu Yu of China and Casey Dawson, a 23-year-old 4 continents winner last weekend.
Starting outside lane, his personal best is
beat Tedjan Blumen of Canada.
Go to the stops. Wadi.
Let's see what being part of a world record team does for Casey Dawson. Part of that U.S. team pursuit side yesterday that lit up the oval, knocking about half a second off the record held by Norway that had been in place for about 3 weeks. Dawson does have an Olympic bronze medal to his name, also from the team pursuit. Now the times are starting to change a little bit with Wu. 29.6 last time, 29.6 this time. Dawson goes another 29.4. So bit by bit, he's closing in. If Wu can maintain this, he might win the pair, and he is in the green at the moment. But Dawson, who won the Four Continents last year, from his consistency, didn't have a huge drop-off. is now starting to close the gap. Wu now another 29.3, and so he's found some reserve. Dawson down to the 29.2s. So closing in a little bit. Wu, where is he getting that from? Went from 29.6 and then a big drop. So Wu still in the green. He might be one who's on pace at least for a new personal best. He did set it almost a year ago in China. And now Dawson, 29.0. He has kept the powder dry until late, that is to be sure. Now he's starting to light things up. He's in the green over Ichinoue. But Wu finding some reserves. He did have a big drop. Ichinoue had a big drop in the last few laps. Ichinoue, another 29.5. Dawson, though, taking another half second out of him. Might still be too late to come back on Wu. An impressive race by the man from China. But Casey Dawson again, really riding a consistent run of form here. Wu going to win the pair, going to the top of the leaderboard. Nice race from him, and he will go 6:13.09. Dawson 6:14.72. And so Wu smashes his personal best. Dawson off of his by a couple of seconds. But Wu, it's in the ballpark of more than 8 seconds. And now, business really is about to pick up. Second half of the pairings in the men's 5,000 meters. Very happy with that one. Casey Dawson into second. Ichinoue now in third place. Spare Bart Swings. The mass start Maestro. And Sander Eitrem, 21 years old.
Go to the start.
Couple of podium finishes this year. It's interesting to note the first 2 World Cups of the year had an identical podium. Obihiro and in Beijing, Patrick Rust, Davide Giotto, and Sander Eitrem, and who's on the ice right now against Bart Swings. Then there was the 10,000 meters. It just sort of changed the complexion, with Giotto winning ahead of Tedjan Blumen and Michele Malfatti. And then in Poland, Rust back atop the podium ahead of Helger Ingebroten and Giotto once again. Of course, Swings, one of the best inline speed skaters of all time. There's something like 40 World Cup medals to his name. A couple of medals from the World Games roller speed skating. If you're not familiar with the World Games, certainly worth looking up. The World Games are sort of, it's an Olympics essentially, but it's an Olympics of sports that really are not at the Olympics. And so obviously sports like inline speed skating are there. Tug of war, which was once an Olympic sport, is also there. And there's some really fun ones as well. And so it's something I always like. If you like seeing what sports is there, Swings does say he's more comfortable on wheels than on blades. He does have his own roller speed skating ride called Swings on Wings. And he jumped over the speed skates because there is that lure of the Olympic medals. And of course, Bart Swings, the reigning Olympic mass start gold medal winner. He won second silver this weekend in the mass start. At the moment, both of these men in the low 29s range, and so both very much in the green. Itrim's personal best time, 6:08.24, was set in Heerenveen. And so of all the traditional distances in speed skating, the one world record not set on this oval in Salt Lake is the men's 10,000 meters, and that was the great Niels van der Poel, who set it at the 2022 Olympics. And perhaps the conditions matter less in a long distance event when you look at things, but perhaps the next 10,000 meters in Salt Lake, the world record could come under risk. You never know. Itrim, so a member of the Team Pursuit side that came second in Salt Lake City yesterday in that race between the U.S. and Norway. Both of them absolutely flying yesterday. Close race so far here. Itrim and Swings. Very even with 4 laps to go. Another lap. Itrim 28.8. Swings in the low 29s. Those guys are lapping a couple tenths of a second quicker than Wu and Dawson. Both of them in the green. As you can imagine, the higher seeded skaters being later in the program. And it's another lap in the 28.7s for Itrim. A good performance from him, I'll say. Swings losing some time, but still lapping 29.5. Down to the final 2. And Itrim keep it in the 28s range. Yes, he can. 28.8, the latest lap time. At his advantage, Swings ticks into the 30s for the first time with a 30 even. But he's still sitting in second fastest right now. Niels van der Poel's 5,000 meter world record was set in Salt Lake, 6:01.56. And there is the bell. Itrim ticking into the 29s now, but still just 29.1. Swings losing about a second to Itrim on that lap. It's just emptying the tank now. Whatever is left, pour it out now into those legs. The fans are cheering him on. Sander Itrim will move atop the leaderboard by more than 5 seconds. 6:07.73. 6:12.59 for Swing, so he hangs on for second. And that is a new personal best for Sander Itrim. And so maybe the PBs will start flowing.
Those skaters moving up into the top 2 spots on the leaderboard. Is moving third is 6:13.09. Swings in second, 6:12.59.
So that's the first Norwegian skater we'll see. There's 2 more to come in the next pair. There's the updated leaderboard. Itrim, Swings, and Wu.
Getting in pair number 6, starting in the inside lane. Holding the Norway's
Sverre Lund Pedersen.
7-16, Sverre Lund Peterson.
And then Haljer Ingebroten.
Starting outside lane, his personal best 6:09.21 from Norway, Helge Ingebrigtsen.
Go to the stop. Ready.
Pedersen, another member of that Norwegian team pursuit side that skated yesterday. Ingebroten, as I mentioned earlier, when listing the results earlier this year, Ingebroten has been on the podium in the 5,000 meters. Silver to Patrick Rust in Tomasz Mazowiecki in Poland. It was in December, early December, the last event before the break. Pedersen is the Norwegian record holder in the distance. Pedersen skated this distance at the European Championships to a 5th place result. And I mentioned Ingebroten being on the podium in Poland. Pedersen, the 31-year-old, was 5th in that race. And so, really at times, 10 laps to go. Ingebroten right on there with his teammate Itrim. Itrim, we know, did dip into the 28s for a little while there. Losing time a little bit right now. 3rd and 5th at the moment. A long way to go. We did see Wu Yu shift late to, as he was losing time. He found another gear, it seems, and dropped his lap times a little bit to finish strongly. And so these early laps, an indicator of form to be sure, but not an indicator of what might be left in the tank. And Ingebroten seemingly settling in at the 29.4, Pedersen 29.6. Approaching the halfway mark. Ingebroten now coming down a little bit. Pedersen over 2 seconds off the pace. Let's see if Ingebroten has a shift into the 28 range to maybe slow the gap, close the gap a little bit on his teammate. Closing in. He's still losing time, but he's closing in on that 28 range. Pedersen looking like he may not have that within him today. If he is going to start putting down some times, they'd better start coming quickly. So at the moment, it's the veteran watching his young teammate throwing down a challenger. Ingebroten, his personal best, the 24-year-old, pardon me, is a 6:09.21. At the moment, he looks like he could be on pace for at least a new personal mark, but so much changes So much is measuring the endurance that you have left energy-wise. Ingebrigtsen now in the 29-1-7. I think he'll be the Norwegian we're watching now the rest of the way. As Pedersen closes in on the 30-second lap time. Seeing that time slip a little bit. Remember, at the moment, that is behind the interval split set by Bart Swings, who did have a drop-off. It was a late drop-off, though, and so Ingebrigtsen perhaps losing it a bit too soon. He's now almost in the 30s with 2 laps to go. Pedersen closing the gap a tiny bit. And the big question is either of them going to dip into the 30s. There is the bell, that sweet, sweet sound, and Ingebrigtsen does dip into the 30.55. That's a pretty steep drop. Pedersen still in the high 29s. Not enough time for him to catch him, obviously, but it's a solid finish for Pedersen. And Ingebrigtsen just trying to get to the finish line as quickly as possible. His lead has come down, and he will go 4th outside the top 3. Ingebrigtsen fading late there. The last lap time, 30.98. He finishes a 6:13.51. Pedersen 6:16.25. So those late lap times costing Ingebrigtsen. So at the moment, Sander Eitrem still the leader. Bart Swings sitting in second, and Wu Yu in third. 2 big pairs still to come, including that heavyweight tilt between Rust and Giotto in the last pair. There's our front 2. Ted-Jan Blumen of Canada and Michele Malfatti of Italy, 37-year-old.
Starting in the outside lane, his personal best 6:15.06 from Italy, Michele Malfatti.
Go to the stop. Ready.
Blumen, his personal best, that 6:01.86 was set more than 6 years ago in Salt Lake in 2017. I mentioned that 4 continents a week ago. He skated a 6:14.22. He started off very, very strong, was in the green for a good chunk of the race, but the lap times just started creeping up a little too quickly, and in the end fell behind Casey Dawson, who won gold, and Graham Fish, Blumen's teammate, snuck in there for second place. And so we'll see if Blumen follows that same strategy, gets off to a strong start and just tries to maintain it better. These 2 men have been on the podium in a long-distance race this season, but it was a 10K. That was in Norway. That was won by Davide Giotto. Blumen second, Malfatti in third. And at the moment, it is Blumen on a blazer early on. Malfatti in the low 29s. Not the quickest of starts, but he is in the mix at the moment. Well, we have to pay close attention to Blumen's lap times because it was about halfway through a week ago. It just started to get up a little too fast. The lap times just started to creep up a little too quickly. 21.8 there for Blumen, 28.7. 28.1 for Blumen, 28.7 for Malfatti as he's now starting to put in some big lap times. Both of them ahead at the moment. There's a ways to go. Just 4 more minutes of suffering when you look at it that way. There's the live splits. Blumen another 28.2. Malfatti another 28.8. And so Blumen is still adding. The live time split there. The time is still creeping up. Is this man skating a more complete race this weekend? Malfatti's lap times are still coming down bit by bit. He's now closing in on the same lap times that Blumen has been putting up for some time now. Blumen, 5,000 meter world champion from 2022. Or 4 continents champion from 2022, pardon me. 2020 world champion on this very ice. And now you see those lap times ticking back up to 28.6. Malfatti also losing time. And is this deja vu all over again? The 2018 Olympic silver medalist. Going at 28.9. The time is creeping away. He's closing in on the 29s. Is Ted-Jan Blumen, and again, is the time just creeping away too quickly? Malfatti also is seeing the lap times sneak up pretty quickly. 4 laps to go. There is the world record split time. Niels van der Poel was skating 28.4s. Blumen 29.1. Malfatti 29.1. It's now 0.6 of a second. Blumen trying to scrap to save whatever time is left here. Coming up to see 3 laps to go. Blumen does a 29.5 and now into the red by half a second. Still says 1 and 2 at the moment. And so 2 laps to go. I'm going to check. Keep up to date on the final times here. Blumen goes into the 30.3s, a 5:06.11 time with a couple laps to go. Malfatti stays under 30 seconds. A reminder, Eitrem 6:07.73, the leading time at the moment. And so there is the bell. This is going to be close. 30.15 for Ted-Jan Blumen. The last lap time, if he can keep it under 30 seconds again or there or thereabouts, he will move atop the leaderboard. Malfatti trying to close it up a little bit. I don't think he's going to factor in this one. Ted-Jan Blumen. He's had a couple of 4th place finishes this year. And Blumen chasing the top time, comes to the line, and yes, he does. 6:06.88, hangs on by just over 0.8 of a second. Malfatti goes to 3rd. And so Ted Jan Blumen will have himself a medal. He's guaranteed at least third place. Time to beat 6:06.88. Malfatti knocked out about 4.5 seconds from his previous personal best to go 6:10.97. That's good enough for third place at the moment. There's the leaderboard. Ted Jan Blumen. He's still got it, doesn't he? He's obviously priming for a couple weeks on home ice in Calgary. World Championships. And this is the pair, isn't it? Patrick Rust, Davide Giotto.
Go to stop. Ready.
And Rust has won every single 5,000 meters on World Cup this year. And Giotto, who has won the 10,000 meters on World Cup this season. Based on that alone, you would imagine you would see him come to the fore later on in the race. Just don't let Rust get too far out of sight. And in the early going, both of these men are right in the mix. Around 28.5 early openings. Rust, the city of Lekkerkerk, outside Amsterdam. With the 29 seconds. Still a ways to go, obviously. Rust, a 3-time world all-around champion. Also does marathon speed skating. And Giotto is, of course, the 10,000 meter world champion. And bronze in Beijing in the 10,000 meters so far this season. Every time he's done a 5,000, he's looked up at Patrick Rust on top of the podium. Giotto was also silver at the European Championships. After a little separating these two then right now with 6 laps to go. Both of them lapping in the 28th range still. This is interesting. Giotto is staying in contact with Rust, and we know Giotto's 10,000 meter prowess. Interesting to see if he starts to pull it out, if Rust isn't just feeling it today. Giotto into the green now by 18 hundredths of a second. Rust still in the high 29s. Low 29s, pardon me. Giotto, is he feeling it today? Is he just tired of finishing second to Patrick Rust? And another time, Giotto into the 28-7 range. He finished about 2.3 seconds behind Rust at the European Championships. What a shot across the bow this would be with the World Championships 2 weeks away in Calgary at the Calgary Olympic Oval. Giotto still 28.94. 28.92, pardon me, on that lap time. Putting a couple tenths here, a couple hundredths there into Patrick Rust. A reminder, Ted-Jan Blumen's time 6:06.88 with 2 laps to go. Giotto looking like he is on pace to better that. He goes under 30 seconds the last 2 laps. That would certainly be the case. And also, this is a personal best, I believe, for Giotto. 6:07.21. That was set right here in December of 2021. Giotto getting the bell. 5:34.17, 29.25 that last lap, and now Rust coming right back into it. He took a pretty healthy chunk of time out that last lap, a half a second. Is this a surge from Rust coming? Yes, it is. Rust pulling ahead of Giotto, leaving it until the very last. 6:06.88, the time to beat. Rust closing it down, and Rust, I think he will do it, and yes, he does. 6:02.98. Giotto, 6:04.23. New personal bests for both of these men. What a late surge by Patrick Rust. When you're the best at what you do, it's not a surprise. New personal best for him, new personal best for Giotto by more than 3 seconds. You saw the shot there. Rust 1, Giotto 2, and Ted-Jan Blumen, the great Canadian veteran, hanging on for 3rd place to pick up bronze. Far from the celebrating Dutch supporters. And you see the ice resurfacers already out. And we get things ready. We'll look at Blumen. Up onto the podium now. He has a couple of 4th place finishes this year. There are the results. Rust, Giotto, and Blumen 1, 2, 3. Blumen getting ahead of Sander Eitrem of Norway. Michele Malfatti hanging on for 5th. And they'll give out those medals, resurface the ice, they'll flood the ice, and we'll be back for the women's mass start. Once again, my name is Gavin Day. If you did ever want to check out the social medias, I talk about some speed skating sometimes at Gavin L. Day on the Bird one and the Insta one. Anyway, take a break. Back in a few minutes.
1,000 meters. Finishing third with a new personal best, 106.72. The bronze medalist from Japan, Tetsuya Shinhama. Finishing second with a personal best time of 106.40, the silver medalist from the Netherlands, Tim Prins. And finishing in a time of 106.32, the gold from the United States of America, Jordan Stolz. Congratulations again to our medalist, 1,000 meters. The bronze list, Tetsuya Shinhama. The list, Tim Prins. This Jordan Stolz. The women's advanced start, a start time of 14:41 at 2:41 p.m. start for the women's advanced start. ceremony for the men's 5,000 meters. In the men's 5,000 meters, finishing third, the season best is 6:06.88. The bronze medalist from Canada, Ted-Jan Gloman.
Special race.
Yeah, it was.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh, I was excited for this.
Finishing second in a new national record time of 6:04.23. The silver medalist from Italy, Davide Giotto.
No, ci ho già provato. Grazie.
And finishing first in a new national record time of 6:02.98. From the Netherlands, the gold medalist, Patrick Roos.
There we go. Last one.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations again to our medalists in the men's 5,000 meters. The bronze medalist, Ted-Jan Gloman, the silver medalist, Davide Giotto, and the gold medalist, Patrick Roos. Coming up next is the women's division D mass start. Very exciting division D race this morning. Perfect team of team captains. Check others that first row went out of the break pretty much the third lap of the race. While her teammate Christina Kavasova was in the front of the chase bag, watching quickly allowed Christopher to get a big gap about 3/4 of a lap and hold it all the way through to the end.
Almost time for the women's mass start, and there is a look at Mia Manganello with the yellow cap on her helmet. That indicates she is the overall World Cup leader. She has a couple of bronze medals from World Cup races this season. And we will let them do the introductions of every single racer to come. Here's the start list. It's really based on the World Cup rankings, the helmet colors. And look at number 13, though, Francesca Lollobrigida. She's back. And watch out. She did pick up a medal at the European Championships in mass start, brought her new son onto the podium. And we will let them take us through the entire start list.
Skating with cap number 1 from the United States of America, Mia Manganello. Wearing cap number 2 from Canada, Valerie Malte. Wearing cap 3 from Canada, Ebony Wadan. Cap 4 from the Netherlands, Irena Schouten. Wearing cap 5 from Belgium, Zentrina Tas. Wearing cap number 6 from Poland, Magdalena Krzysztof. Skater number 7 from Poland, Ola Pietrowska. Number 8 from the Netherlands, Marika Radwell. Number 9 from Switzerland, Ramona Hardy. Number 10 from Switzerland, Caitlin McGregor. Number 11 from Korea, Park Ji-woo. Skater 12 from Germany, Michelle Urin. Italy, Francesca Lollobrigida. China, Yang Yu. Norway, Laura Bridget Lovas. And from Belgium, Fran Van Hout.
And there we have it. Lots to look at in this mass start. Just a few seconds. And we are underway. You know the drill by now for mass start. Every 4 laps a sprint point for a couple of points. And the big one on the line for the medals. It'll be interesting to see if anyone tries to sneak away off the front. Maybe get into a breakaway. I know the depth skaters tend to be jumpy, wanting to get into the breakaways. And that's Manganello on the front. Marijke Groenewold wearing cap number 8. With her in orange. It is her birthday today. She turns 25. And I think I know what she would like to get herself. And there's the gun as racing officially gets underway now. And an interesting kind of setup already with already 2 packs formed up, but they'll be closed up pretty shortly as there's no real urgency for anyone to break away. Manganello, overall World Cup leader, keeping an eye on things. Her and Malte joined Irena Schouten in a long breakaway that just about lapped the entire field. That was in Stavanger. It was an interesting race. Officials took a long time trying to see who was lapped and who wasn't. Because when they were lapped, they were given a DQ, and of course, no points given. No World Cup points given, that is. So it was interesting to note. We were just sort of wondering what was going on, but it was just to see who gets 0 points and who got World Cup points. And it was an interesting assessment of the whole situation. And right now, the 2 Polish skaters, Olga Pietrowska and Magdalena Krzysztof, leading things out for the sprint. Look at Sandrina Tas of Belgium well, slotted in between the 2 red, white, and black kits from Poland. There is a move coming up on the outside. It is one of the German skaters. I believe it's Michelle Udig trying to come around and get into the mix for the sprint. It is Tas at the moment. I think it's Udig getting in for second. And then the Battle of Poland for third. And it was Pietrowska getting across the line for third. And these sprints really kind of important just for determining rankings as the medals, the big sprint point is coming on the line. At the finish. And the reformation happens here. After this, we have the mixed relay making its return for the second time on World Cup this season. The Dutch are the winners of the first event. That was way back in Obihiro. Canada had actually won their heat, setting the fastest time, but Antoine Jelena Beaulieu was ruled to have changed his path in a sprint, and that clipped out Wesley Daesch. And that gave the Dutch the gold medal. Here comes an acceleration now from the field. I was talking about the Dutch wanting to go on the attack. It's Irene Schouten once again. Yang Bin-yu of China smartly watching the situation. Getting right up there, and I think it's Malte again. And I believe Francesca Lollobrigida in the Azzurri kit. And the Swiss skaters up there, Manganello's up there. That's just fractured the field here. We'll see how long this breakaway goes for. There's half the race to go. And we'll see if this one is committed to going on the attack. You get enough countries represented, and their teammates really don't have to do much work to try to chase them down because they have their teammate in line for a medal. But this one, this sort of seems a little ramshackle put together. Manganello was leading things. Doesn't take it, it seems. And it will be Schouten getting over the line for the sprint point. And the reformation, and now the attack once again. Schouten, Yang, and then Manganello, I believe. And watch out, this one could be dangerous. This one is worth marking. And I think the field has instantly recognized that. They remember back to Stavanger when the entire field was lapped. This time it's Kronewold, the birthday girl, the two Canadians, leading the chase. And I know Kronewold does like to go on the attack as well. One of the races she tried a few times to get into the breakaway. Tried to surprise some skaters this time. Not gonna fool us now. As a man once said, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you're not gonna fool me again. And now it's Tass trying to go again in the corner road. Picking it up. Moves and counter moves in this one. Couple skaters, really one skater is off the back, and we're coming up to the third sprint. And could this launch potentially a decisive attack? Couple skaters drifting out wide. That opens up the middle. And it's one of the skaters from Switzerland now. Both the skaters from Switzerland, and then the youngster from Norway, Aurora Grinden Luas. And let's see. Looks like two skaters from Switzerland are up in the points. Each of the teammates are getting them, and then hands on the knees, definitely not committing to a breakaway now. Confirmation of the points, Caitlin McGregor and Fran Van Hoot second, and it was Lovas getting up there for a final point as well. And Tass once again trying to test the waters a little bit. Couple laps to go. Looking, as always, like it's going to come down to the final sprint. The two skaters from the Netherlands on the front. Is this Tass or is this still Van Hoot? Pardon me. It is Tass indeed. Kronewold, Schouten, and then the two Canadians. Always keep an eye out for the yellow cap. Mia Manganello sitting right in the slipstream behind Francesco Lollobrigida. Who's going to open things up? Who makes the first move? Blondin won the Four Continents a week ago. That was just an interesting race. But it's the two Dutch skaters, the two Canadian skaters. Yang from China. Manganello is back there. Lollobrigida is back there. It might be too far for them. Right now, it's going to open up into the sprint. Malte Has she done it again? Or Ivani Blonde, pardon me, has Blonde done it? Yes, she has. And it is Ivani Blonde, always able, it seems, to find herself in the right place. Today for Schouten. I hope I didn't get my Canadians confused. I'll just wait to see. The camera is trained on Blondin. I thought I got the right shape. There's the two Dutch skaters leading it out. It was Groenewald in front of Schouten. And it was, in fact, Ivani Blondin. Out of the gun, sensed the finish line, and takes the race. It was Schouten in for second. And was it Malte up for third? I believe. Ooh, that's close. But I think Malte might have had it. You see the two Canadians celebrating together. I think they both might end up on the podium. Congratulations from Ted-Jan Blumen. I think they're just confirming. They've got to be confirming that photo because it was very close with Yang Bin Yu and Valerie Malte. Malte, first ever World Cup podium in the 3000 this weekend. Nice way to end it for her. I think Schouten, without question, in for second. And your winner, Ivani Blondin. Here we are. This will make it for sure what we have. Blondin, Schouten, Malte, 1, 2, and 3. And it was Yang Bin Yu in for third. Marijke Groenewald in for fifth. Francesco Lollobrigida up into sixth place. And one more mass start still to come this season. That is in Quebec City next weekend, where, of course, a lot of them will be done. And looks like we have a quick pause as well. We'll do one more flood and then brush up on your mixed relay because it's coming up next. Of course, I will be there to guide you through, but hang in there. One sec.
Mais j'étais pris. Puis là, j'ai essayé de mettre à l'intérieur, mais t'étais déjà parti. Fait que j'étais comme, OK, on fait un switch là. On fait un switch mid-race.
Check, check, mic check.
Okay, time for mixed relay time. Heat 1 will have Kazakhstan and Hungary. And so this might be the easiest one to call based on solely just the fact that there aren't four teams clogging up the ice and making exchanges generally chaotic. And so, we'll wait until we get underway, and then I will explain how it goes. Akshal of Kazakhstan, for Kazakhstan, and Alina Daudanova. Two youngsters. You'll see a lot of teams putting their young teams in. 20 and 19. Balint Bode and Abigail Merks, both 20 years old for Hungary. And so here's how it works. The mixed gender relay is 6 laps total. The first lap will be done by the woman, the female skater. There will be an exchange. Often you'll see it like a short track speed skating relay exchange where they'll just give the push. The male skater will do 2 laps. And then he'll exchange back to the female skater, and she will do 2 laps. And then it will end with the male skater doing a single lap. The only other time this was done on World Cup, that was back in Obihiro. And it was the Netherlands on the day, Femke Koch and Wesley Daish, ahead of Poland and the United States. And there was actually a disqualification in that race. Canada crossed the line first, but ruled to have changed their path. And that led to Wesley Daish taking a spill right at the finish line. And so here we see it into the men's portion, the men's 2-lap portion. It is Balint Bode and Akshal, pardon me, skating. Now, it's been done a few times. I think the World University Games in Lake Placid last year was done. They did it just the other day, actually, at the Youth Olympics in South Korea, or in Korea Republic. That was an interesting push. Merckx perhaps not really prepared for it. It looks like she was almost pushed right off her skates. And so you might also see the arm slings that we've seen in team sprints, or just any contact is made to get the exchange done on the straightaway. In Obihiro, the first heat, I think it featured Korea Republic, and they completely missed an exchange, and that just, they did not finish it. But talking to some of the team members, what preparation went into that first World Cup? Not much for a lot of them. And he sort of asked them what to expect, and it was usually one word: chaos. And so with two teams right now, it's certainly a much more manageable situation. You're not going to have a concentration of skaters on one small piece of ice. And there is the final exchange. One final lap to go. Everybody gets their exchanges done. It's Kazakhstan out in front. Hungary about a second and a half behind. They lost 0.4 of a second at that last lap. And Bode trying to chase down Akshal. And so this is not an Olympic event, at least not yet. But of course, with the Olympics moving to add mixed gendered events, I think that's ultimately the goal. And it's going to be Kazakhstan taking heat number one. Now, not only do they win the heat, there's no knockout format, there's no semifinals and finals. That's the time to beat now. 3:02.45. Hungary on 3:03.01. And so all the later skaters will be judged against the times. This is still a timed event. It's not a head-to-head, true head-to-head format. And so the second heat, we'll see the first of four, the first including 4 skaters. And so it will be enough to potentially make commentators go cross-eyed as they try to keep track of everything. And so heat number 2 has 2 countries we often see, Canada and Korea, and 2 countries that I don't believe I've called on any broadcast this year, Romania and Brazil. Of course, the B divisions are not broadcast, and so we only get to see the A ones. And there are the Canadians, Yenkun Zhao, 20 years old, and Yvonne Blondin, who we just saw moments ago winning the mass start. Blondin was on the Canadian team back in Obihiro, so whatever she might have learned, she's certainly passing on to Zhao. Zhao, the son of the great coach who coached the Canadian team and Chinese team, Xu Li Wang. Made his senior debut a week ago on 4 continents. That Brazilian kit is certainly recognizable, isn't it? Zhao, good sportsmanship from him, saying, "I will see you on the other side, whatever happens." Korean team, 2 18-year-olds, Yang Ho-jun and Na Yoon Lee. So if you're looking for favorites, you look for Canada and Korea. Certainly the Canadians. And this might be a race where they may stay out of trouble in the final sprint. There is Yvonne Blondin, and Zhao, as I mentioned, with the blue helmet cover. And Yang Ho-jun, Na Yoon Lee, Lee Na-yoon for Korea. As I mentioned, 2 18-year-olds. So getting the experience now. Romania has Cosmin Nedelia and Bianca Lorena Stanitsa, 23 and 26. Larissa Paes is right there, 28 years old. And Eder Lopes, 39-year-old.
Go to the start.
So this one has 3 teams, pardon me. So not as chaotic as it can be. No, there are 4. Go with the counting right the first time.
Ready.
So Pice actually lives in Salt Lake City, aiming to compete in the 2026 Olympics. The first ever Brazilian to compete on the World Cup circuit. It was in a mass start in 2021. But she is off the back. And at the moment, it is Korea, Canada, and Romania. 1, 2, and 3 right now. And this might be a little congested exchange here. You try to find your teammate. And there an exchange is made. Romania gets it done just barely. And so that's the chaos that can happen. The struggle to find your teammate in a crowded field like that. Lopes there on the back, and it is Zhao, the Canadian, deciding, let's stay out of trouble. Let's get to the front, maybe try to add a lead. But right now, Korea and Romania tucking into that slipstream a little bit. And not a huge margin over that first race. Hungary and Kazakhstan. Zhao coming up to exchange to Blondin. Has to check his turn. There she is. Makes the exchange. Find your teammate. Off you go. And at Blondin, they're adding to that advantage. Romania and Korea. Races to stay in touch. And they're both doing a very good job of that right now. You wonder what fatigue is in Yvonne Blondin's legs. And these three skaters, or the two skaters, essentially joining a nice team pursuit style draft. And 1 lap to go. They've now added to their lead. Almost 2 seconds advantage. And this will be the final exchange. And so job 1, get around the corner. Job 2, find your teammate. Job 3, make an efficient exchange. And nicely done for Canada. Nicely done for all three. Romania and Korea. Now it's a sprint. And it is the Koreans making a move on the Canadians. And it is Yang Ho-jun, Yan-kun Zhao in the sprint to the line. Here comes Zhao trying to close it up. Indeed he will. Trying to make it close. It is still going to be Korea by about 0.04 of a second. Romania finishing third. All three moving to the top of the leaderboard right now. And so congratulations from the teammates. The two young skaters complete heat number 2. That's just how chaotic things can get, with 4 teams on the ice all trying to make an exchange, particularly that first exchange, before gaps have a chance to really open up. And so heat number 3. We'll see. Norway, China, the Czech Republic, and Germany. for Norway. There's Martine Ripsrud. She's with Alan Dahl Johansen. Ripsrud, the 28-year-old. Johansen, 25. We saw him in mass start as well. Sun Chuanyi and Jing Wen-jin for China. Two young skaters as well, 21 and 20. Czech Republic goes with Zuzana Kursova and Jakub Kochi, 19 and 20 years old. Kursova's 20. And then for Germany, it's Anna Ostlander, she's 21, and Hendrik Dombeck, we've seen him today, 26 years old. So a lot of
Go
skaters
to the
in
start.
their early 20s.
Ready.
I would imagine the goal is by the time this potentially gets into an Olympics, a lot of these skaters who have the World Cup experience doing it would be the same that would go for Olympic glory. And they would know how to skate tactically and all this. And right now at the moment it seems Norway in front. That first exchange, oh so crucial. Get out in front and avoid the danger. Makes it easier to find your teammate. And Ostlander to Johansson there. Smoothly done. Dombeck in. Nice one from China. There's Jin. Skated right up there with a burst of speed. Norway, the fastest time at the moment. A ways to go. It's Henrik Dombeck. And we have Germany, who's moved to the front. Czech Republic fighting to get back on terms, but when that elastic is snapped and you're exposed to the wind, not able to draft, it makes the challenge very difficult indeed. All these teams are in shot, or in range of our lead two, Korea and Canada. And the second round of exchanges are done. Everybody through safely. Everybody's still in the red. Very concentrated right now. Not a lot separating the top teams. And it's Ostlander on the front. Sun for China. And then Ripsrud. Been around for a few years, 28 years old. Enjoying a bit of a draft right now. Now all three of the teams are in the green. That's been a quick lap to get them all ahead. It's China now making a move. It's Sun going around Ostlander now, setting herself up for that final exchange. Everybody finds their person. Ooh, and a bit of a wobble there from Jin, but he is still in front. Now the bell. And they are all three, the front teams ahead. Close to or over a second to advantage. It is China leading things around. Alan Dahl Johansen of Norway trying to keep touch. It's going to be a sprint to the line. China and Norway. Norway, here comes Johansen, and Johansen's going to take it. They go first and second, and Germany gets right up there, hangs on for third fastest time. Faded a little bit on that last lap. But 1, 2, and 3 at the moment. Like these teams have kind of figured it out. All three teams in formation, nicely finding their own places on the ice. China skating away with it. fourth and final pair still to come has the Netherlands, Poland, the United States, and Italy. We're just checking things out. It may have that Norway has been disqualified. Just checking the updated results. Oh wait, official confirmation of that, but that is the result I'm reading right now. Anyway, we'll worry about that later. We'll get to the fourth heat. As I mentioned, Netherlands, Poland, USA, and Italy. There is Helga Drost, a 5-year-old. She's teamed up with Wesley Deitch, who, I guess you could call him the expert of this discipline. He has a gold. Poland has Karolina Bosiek and Damian Zurek. The United States has Krista Rands and Emery Lehman. And Italy will have Serena Perdiger and Daniele Di Stefano.
Go to the start. Ready.
As I mentioned, 1 lap for the women, 2 lap for the men, 2 lap for the women, 1 lap for the men. It's a nice pyramid. Femke Koch was the teammate for Wesley Deitch the first time this was done. And we get to see Helga Drost, the 25-year-old. Nice pace line going right now. And everybody following the order of their helmet number. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now here is where things could get chaotic, and indeed they are. I'm not sure, did Italy make their exchange? I know there was a big squeak of the blades, and two teams might have just gotten the slightest of touches in. And that is what happens when you are flying around that corner. There's quite the skid mark from one of the blades. And this race has been split apart. They were flying early on. And now they all have chasing to do. They're all in the red. Plenty of time to come back. Although if you're Italy, I'm not sure what you can do now. Daniele Di Stefano. And they're going with the arm sling. Executed perfectly. Krista Rands back in the race. I have been taken to calling that the Madison, as it looks very much, if you ever watch track cycling, there's an event called the Madison, teams of 2, and one teammate grabs the arm and does exactly that, slings the teammate forward. So we'll see if it sticks. But the arm sling by the United States, they really pioneered that in the men's team sprint to good effect. Now everybody does it this year. But they had the room, they had a gap in front, and so they had that ample space to really get that good sling forward. I think in close quarters, maybe the push, the short track inspired push, will do the trick. And now Rands perhaps fading a little bit. Karolina Bosiek has Poland in front. The squeaking of blades. And now there's one final exchange. Italy's jumped up into third, actually. Poland, though, 2 seconds down. The United States, Italy And the Netherlands have just disappeared off the radar. And so, chaos indeed. The team that won the only World Cup is out for a nice Sunday skate. They will not figure in the final. It is Poland coming to take this one just ahead of the United States. Italy in third. And Wesley Deitch will come across for Italy. Or the Netherlands, rather, and they finish in 12th. From 1st to 12th. That means it looks like, yes, in fact, China has won. And it is very much the discipline where you wait to see the final results before everything's done. Here's the first exchange. Italy, Di Stefano dragging his blade there. Poland skated into each other. And then here's some good communication between the U.S. teammates. Lehman calling for the Madison. And if nobody ever picks up on that, I will call it the arm sling too. I'm fully aware of that. And Poland coming on to win the heat as Damian Zudek crosses the line. Not good enough. That real first exchange really just kind of botched everything, it seems. Slowed everybody down. It was just too much of an obstacle to overcome. We'll await confirmation of the results. And they will give out some final medals, and then I will make my goodbyes. But for now, let's just wait for those final results so we all know how things ended up. But I believe there has been a DQ for Norway. There you have it. China, gold. Germany, silver. Korea, bronze. Ends up being 0.04 of a second, the difference between third and fourth. And here's the first exchange that just sort of did everybody in. Italy. Not sure what they were doing on the exchange. They ended up just sort of giving an awkward high five. That counts as the exchange. Tagging up. And there you are, China, Germany, Korea, your podium. In the second running of the mixed gender relay. And some final medals to give out. It'll be done shortly, and then I will say goodbye. So stand by. We'll wrap up the proceedings here in just a few minutes.
Sending word to Sergio Anese, ISU representative, and Murray Stringham, Salt Lake County Councilwoman. In the women's mass start, the bronze medalist from Canada, Valerie Maltais.
Thank you. Thank you.
The silver medalist from the Netherlands, Irene Schouten. And the gold medalist from Canada, Ebony Van Den.
Thank you. I'm tired. Yes. Too much. Too much racing. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations again to our medalists in the women's main start, the bronze medalist Valerie Maltais, silver medalist Irene Schouten, and the gold medalist Ebony Van Den.
bronze medalists from Korea, Lee Ya-han and Yang Ho-jun.
Sorry.
The silver medalists from Germany, Anna Oslander and Hendrik Dombeck.
Thank you very much.
And the gold medalist from China, Jin Wenjiang and Sun Shanyi. Congratulations again to our medalists in the mixed gender relay, the bronze medalist Korea, Lee Ya-han and Yang Ho-jun. Silver medalists from Germany, Anna Oslander and Hendrik Dombeck. And the gold medalists from China, Jin Wenjing and Sun Xuanyi.
What a weekend it's been. Fast times, personal bests, and yes, of course, world records. Not a bad way to get back into the ISU World Cup speed skating season. One more World Cup to go. That's next weekend in Quebec City, and then we roll on into World Championship season. It's been fun this weekend. I've really enjoyed things as always. I'll be back with you another time, but until then, have a good rest of your weekend wherever you are in the world. My name is Gavin Day. Goodbye.